Become a chameleon. What does that mean? Do you enjoy being a flexible person? Do you find it easy? Or when it comes to change, are you more like me and you're on the fence? Imagine one day you come home and your family tells you that you're moving houses. How would you feel about this? Would you see it as an exciting new opportunity? Or would you be upset to leave behind your house? My goal by the end of this presentation is to inspire all of you to allow yourselves to be a more flexible person. To be a more flexible and adaptable person, we have to know what adaptability or coping is. Coping, as mindtools.com defines it, is the process by which an individual attempts to minimize threats and changes. My first major change hit me when I was 11 years old. We were a few weeks out from starting 6th grade. It was a normal day. I was spending some time with my younger sister, when suddenly our parents called us inside to have a family meeting. At first we thought we were getting a dog, and obviously this made us very excited because we're animal people. But instead of getting the dog, our parents told us they were getting a divorce and my dad was moving out. Now, this hit me even harder than it hit my sister, because she knew that she could trust the people around her and she knew that that would help her through it. I didn't. I ended up locking myself in my room and not coming out unless I absolutely had to over the span of 2 weeks. According to mindtools.com, there's 2 types of coping. There's escape coping, which is what I did. It's locking yourself out of society and not trusting or talking to anybody. And this can have very negative effects. But there's also control coping. Control coping is what I should have done, and what I, over the past few years, have learned to do. Control coping is more positive. It's trusting the people around you, telling yourself that you're going to be okay and you can get through whatever change is happening. And most of all, knowing that you can talk to people around you. Cheryl Ann McDonald, the San Diego Health and Psychology Center, says that adaptability, or just even adapting to one small simple change, is a very long process, because humans have thousands of stubborn beliefs. And it takes a long time just to even open your mind to the fact that you may be able to do something a different way. For example, let's say you thought there's only one way to get from point A to B, such as one way to get from your house to school, and that's taking one simple route. Like if I wanted to get from this green X here over to those signs. Simple, right? Well, imagine there was a wall right there. How would I get around it? This is where adaptability comes in. It helps you open your mind to the fact there may be another route, such as simply going around the said wall. Like that. Now, getting back to the 2 types of coping. After the 2 weeks of me using only escape coping, I had about a 2.5-hour long talk with my mom about how I needed to learn to trust the people around me. And this really helped me. Another thing that adaptability helps you with is staying positive. By a show of hands, how many people around here don't like being around somebody that's negative all the time? So that's almost everybody in here, right? Yeah. Well, before learning to be a more adaptable person and to trust the people around me, I was always negative. And I actually lost quite a few friends this way, because they didn't want to be around a negative person, and I don't blame them. I brought everybody down, and I didn't want to go with the group, wherever we wanted to go, whether it's just making a simple decision. I didn't want to do anything. Just like with any skill, you're going to run into some problems. For example, let's say you don't think you have the time on your hands to think through things and to trust the people around you and have long conversations like I did with my mom. Or maybe you don't think it's worth trying to adapt to something. Or maybe you just don't want to. If you don't think you have time on your hands, you're right. You're never just going to have time. You have to make time by rearranging your schedule. That's another thing adaptability can help you with. And if you don't think it's worth it, think again. You never know. You have nothing to lose. Just give it a try. And if you don't want to, I urge you to think again, because adaptability has helped me in the past 2 years that I've learned to use it. My mentor, Mr. Jameson, has taught me a lot about change, not just over the course of life, but from day to day. For example, he moved from Alabama to Texas, and he didn't know anybody here, but he's adapted to that. He's also taught me that you have to be flexible in day to day, because you may have a schedule change. Let's say you have your schedule perfectly set up and your car breaks down. You have to be ready to find another way to get to work. You're probably still wondering about my title, which I'm not surprised. Well, to me, adaptability is basically the same thing as a chameleon's camouflage, just used in different situations. Chameleons use their camouflage to adapt to new surroundings. Adaptability helps you blend into change. One last time, I'd like to remind you all that adaptability and change are not necessarily a bad thing if you know how to adapt. You have to know to trust the people around you, and you have to be able to be flexible.